From one Los Angeles team to another, let's go. Los Angeles Chargers 2022 roster grades. And what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fun NFL. Today, of course, another roster grading video, but today it's the Los Angeles Chargers. We got some more coming, of course, and then I am going to be gone for a week, and then I will do some more. But either way, guys, let's subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy Los Angeles Chargers roster grades 2022. Let's get right into it. Yeah. As always, starting out with the quarterbacks, Justin Herbert's top 5 QB, arguably top 10 at least. I'd have him above Joe Burrow. For one reason only, he's just he's more physically talented, and it's a good margin to the point where you can't ignore it. That's my opinion on it. But then Chase Daniel, he's not the best backup. He's not the worst, though. He's a good veteran. Easton Stick can run, I guess. Brandon Peters out of Illinois. He's a system quarterback. I mean, if he had to go out there, he'd make some good throws. But, yeah, that's the Chargers quarterbacks. I can't yet put Justin Herbert in A+, because that is top 5. I think A is very fair, too. Because there are 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that, teams that have undoubtedly A+. Probably 5 you count Joe Burrow, because I can't give him an A+, because he's not top 5. That's just the truth about it. He's 6 or 7. So he's really close. But, yeah, that's what they think. And they don't have bad backups, so they're fine there. But, yeah, the backups aren't the worst in the world. So if he gets hurt, they're not dead, but they're definitely not great. Today, points, what the heck is that? That's 29.67 out of 30. And yes, if you didn't know, 33% of a point is, it's worth something. Now we get to running backs. Austin Ekeler, very versatile back, of course, one of the best in the league. Of course, I'm not the biggest fan of Austin Ekeler, in my opinion. Like, I don't love him, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's the most smooth running back. I don't think he reads holes the best, but he is good. I'll tell you that. He's really good. Isaiah Spiller out of Texas A&M. I did a lot of tape on him. Isaiah Spiller's a really good balance runner. His one problem is he doesn't always get in the end zone on the goal line, which is kind of just unfortunate, because he is a very good workhorse if he could do that. And he's not a great receiving back either. Joshua Kelly, he's a good second, third down back. He'll get some good carries. Not the most efficient guy in the world, but he can definitely go out there and do something. Laurie Roundtree, he is a good backup. That's all I have to say about him. When he gets carries, he'll do his job. He can get in the end zone. He's good breakaway stuff, but that's about it. Okay, for the Chargers running back, I'll give them an A-. I will be honest, they do deserve an A-, because they have 2 guys. Honestly, Isaiah Spiller could start, and Joshua Kelly's not a bad backup. They have some good depth there, and not only that, but Austin Ekeler is the #1 running back. That's just true. Should it be an A+? Maybe. I think an A- is fair, though, so that's 3. It's out of 20, right? Yeah. So A-, that's 19.33 out of 20, which I think is fair in my own eyes. Now let's get to the wide receivers. Of course, now we get to the Chargers receiving core. Keenan Allen is obviously #1 receiver. He had over 1,100 yards on 106 catches on 157 targets. 6 touchdowns, yes. He is a possession receiver. You got to remember that. Good route runner. He had a 67.5 catch percentage, which is not bad at all. His, what else is there? His PFF grade was 77.5, which is nothing to snuff about. His yards per, yards per catch or yards, whatever. He's a good player. I don't really need to say anything else. His yards after catch weren't anything special either, but he's a really good #1 receiver. Mike Williams, of course, the deep play guy. He had a lot of targets too. Really stepped up as well. He had 109. Yeah, his catch percentage wasn't great. He was a little consistent. 58.5 is not. 59% is not great. You kind of want to be a completion percentage when you think about it, but 59. I'll take 15 yards per catch any day of the week. He's really, really big play guy. Joshua Palmer, really good in the red zone. He's just a really good receiver. I don't really need to say anything else. Jalen Guyton, another big play guy. They have some big play guys. I don't know if they have enough route runners. DeAndre Carter, special teamer. Jason Moore. I haven't really heard much about Jason Moore. Another special teamer, I guess. But yeah, the depth it's a little lacking. Donald Parham Jr. is a big guy. He can go up and catch it. He'll be good in the red zone for them, but he did get a very unfortunate injury. He's one of the tight ends. Whatever, my bad. But even Joe Reed's not that bad. It's just the fact they're not a ton of depth. Let's get right to their rankings. For the Chargers receiving core, I'll give it a B+ because they do have a good fourth receiver, and most of those guys are pretty consistent. We know what we'll get out of this defense, which is offense. I don't think it's this receiving core. I don't think it's A range just because they don't have that elite third receiver that you really need to be an A-tier wide receiving core. But it's definitely it's above average, and it's honestly probably one of the top 9, 10, top 10 receiving core in the NFL. You could definitely argue. So yeah, I like them. So that would be 16 out of 20. It's pretty much fair, if you ask me. Of course, now we get to the tight end. Gerald Everett, he's okay. I mean, he's not great. Like, he's okay. 48 catches on 63 targets for 478 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 10 yards per catch, 249 yak, 76.2 yards per catch, 78.2 catch percentage. He had 3 drops, which isn't bad on 4.8 drop percentage, which isn't great, but whatever. He had and he also had 63.5 PFF grade. And he's also pretty explosive when you think about it as well, with a 41-yard catch, which is decent when you think about it. And then you look at the actual guys that were on the team with Justin Herbert. You have Donald Parham, already talked about. He had a very unfortunate, scary injury back on Thursday Night Football in Week 17 against the Chiefs. But when he played 20 catches on 190 for 3 touchdowns, he isn't the most explosive guy, but like I said, he's a good red zone guy. He does drop some passes, but other than that, he's pretty good. Trey McKitty, special teamer. He's a good blocker as well. I like what else you can see out of him. And I mean, he's a starting graded PFF, so that's not bad either. So yeah, overall, they're looking pretty good. And who's Trayvon Badford? He's a rookie. I think he's UDFA. See what we can get out of him too. So I think they do deserve a C, because the blocking isn't really there. Trey McKitty can block, but he's not a good receiving tight end. It's kind of a mess. They don't have a real number 1 tight end either. So I give him a C. I don't think it's a bad tight end room at all. I think it's about average. Could it get better? Yeah, this isn't really a projection. It's what it is right now, which is kind of how I grade sometimes. What do you think is fair for them? So that's 6 plus 3, 2.3. That's 8.33 out of 8.67 out of 15, which I think is really fair. Now let's get the O-line. Okay, now for the Chargers O-line. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, Gabe Neighbors is a really good blocking fullback as well. But Rashawn Slater, 83.46 PFF grade. He only had 6 penalties. He only gave up 4 sacks, and he made the Pro Bowl as well. He is a very good player to come. Trey Pipkins also is a good backup left tackle. He made some plays when he needed to. About an average guy, which isn't bad at all. Now we get to Matt Filer. Matt Filer was about average as well. He played most of the season, 1,120 snaps. So when he played, he was a starting caliber guy. Ryan Hunter, we don't know much about, which is kind of an issue as a backup player, but whatever. Corey Linsley, you already know he's a really good player. 85.7 PFF grade. Good player, obviously. He was first team All-Pro 2 years ago in 2020, and then he made the Pro Bowl last year. Corey Lindsey's an elite center. I don't need to say anything else. Will Clapp was disappointing when he played. That's a little bit of an issue, but backup centers aren't always going to be the best, so I think they could have got worse. Zion Johnson, of course, the first-round pick. He should be good at number 17. They're really good there, too. Brandon James, as well, he didn't play much at all, so we can't really say much about him. Storm Norton, he played every game this season. Most of the games this season, my bad. 60.2 PFF, so he's very, not good, I'll put it that way. Backup caliber guy. But when he's out there, I gotta admit, he's not the worst guy in the world. Jameer Saylor is a rookie, 36th round pick, the number 195. He might get some chances, but overall, this is a really good offensive line. 4 of these guys are going to be really good. One of these guys, right tackle, could be a little bit of an issue from Brian Bulaga to him, but whatever. They're looking pretty good on the Chargers offensive line. I'll give them a B+ because an A offensive line there's no holes at all. They have really good backups. If they had like another starting caliber guy, because not all of those guys are really good, but if they had a little more depth, they might have pushed them up in the A range. But I don't think that's an issue at all. They're a very good offensive line. A couple of those guys we haven't seen a lot of, and one of the guys is not starting caliber. Wasn't starting caliber last year, and we got a really good test on him. So overall, I think this is a good really good offensive line, but they need to prove it as well for me to really put them there. So that's 8 plus 4 is 12 out of 15, which is really darn good. Let's get the average for this offense. Okay, here's the thing. It averaged out to a B+, but you have Justin Herbert, and there's no way this offense isn't going to be an elite offense next year. That's just the truth. This is going to be a really good offense next year. And they come out to an 86 out of 100 as well, which it's not A, which is like 90. Anything 91 or 2+, you're talking about one of the best offenses or defenses in the league. 86 is pushing B+, definitely. It's pushing A range. I'll give him an A-. I think that is fair. When you have Justin Herbert and you have a really good running game, and you have an improved offensive line, yeah, the tight ends aren't great. You have a really good receiving core. I think an A- is fair. They're just about even with the Rams, honestly, with that. But we'll talk about their a little more of issues. Let's get to their defense now. Of course, starting out with the linebacking core. Joey Bosa, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. I don't really need to talk about him. Chris Rump, good backup. Second-round pick last year. He has some inconsistencies, but he's not the worst. Khalil Mack on the other side, I mean, this is just unfair. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, two of the best edge rushers in the NFL. Khalil Mack, a little bit of a regression. He's still, I think, top 10. Kyle Vanoy, another big playmaker. Not much of a pass rusher, per se, but he can still get after the quarterback for sure. Kenneth Murray Jr., he's been very inconsistent so far in his early stay, and he got hurt last year as well. But, I mean, he's going to be decent. We know that. Drew Tranquill, serviceable. I don't really need to say much else about him. He's not very good at helping fit the run. He's not much of a leader out there, but I think that's where Kenneth Murray comes in. Troy Reader isn't great, but he does make tackles, which are huge. Nick Niemann, oof. Nick Niemann he's rough. I'll put it that way. He was a 6th round. He was a 6th round pick, though, so you can't really expect him. But he played a good amount of snaps, like big-time snaps, and he didn't really perform. That's what I think about this linebacking core. But obviously, some of these guys are fast rush, so we're going to just think about these 4. But, yeah, Kenneth Murray and Drew Tranquill, and whatever starters. So, this linebacking core, they're not good. I'll give them a C-. So, yeah, you think of the edge rushers? Forget the edge rushers. I'm talking about the pure linebackers. That's where the pass rush comes in later. I did a little bit of a mistake there. My bad. But, yeah, C-. Those guys aren't great. I don't think Kenneth Murray is going to be very good. He hasn't been good at all so far in his career. He'll be decent, though. Drew Tranquill is serviceable, like I said. But I don't know. I'm really concerned about their run defense for that reason. They could get penetration, but the real issue is fitting the run. That is defensively, but their guys don't make the greatest tackles. Those guys are not playmakers. They're not going to make big plays. Especially when you have guys like Troy Reader that are going to have to come in and make all the tackles, which is not great. Considering, yeah, he is a good tackler, but that's about it. And he's not good in pass coverage. Yeah, Kenneth Murray is good in pass coverage, but not perfect. I'll put it that way. So C-, that's 2.33. Plus 9 is 11.33 out of, which is, it's a lot to be desired. Now let's get to the defensive line. That is pretty better. Okay, Jerry Tillery is interesting. I think he's good. I mean, he's not, like, he definitely has not lived up to, like, the pass rush expectations, but he's not bad. He's a starting caliber guy. Sebastian Joseph Day, of course, with the Rams. Big guy. He's just going to stand there, take up blocks, make plays. Why is Morgan Fox here? Oh, yeah. Morgan Fox wasn't good last year. He was good with the Rams, though. Austin Johnson, who did he play for last year? Oh, yeah, for the Giants, my bad. Austin Johnson, he's actually pretty darn athletic, to be honest. Odio Oguningba, let me put it this way. He's a rookie 5th round pick. He's big, he's athletic, and, yeah, he can get after the quarterback. Very underrated. Christian Covington, oof. I don't like Christian Covington. Like, I just don't like him. He's older, too. I don't like Christian Covington. And yeah, that's basically their defensive line. It's pretty decent. Yeah, I'm giving them a C+. Like, none of those guys are bad. I gotta admit, they're all good, but none of them are, like, It's just an average defensive line. The depth isn't, it's just average. That's 9 out of 15. Now we get to the fun part, the pass rush. Kind of already talked about it. They have two top 10 edge rushers, top 5, one Joey Bosa. Khalil Mack, yes, he is declining a little bit, but he still gets after the quarterback really well. Chris Rumph, I mean, he can get after the quarterback. I kind of just said that. Not great. He doesn't get a ton of playing time, but when he played, he was actually a 4th-round pick at Duke. But yeah, he makes plays. Kyle Van Noy, same thing. He can't get after the quarterback. He's more of a blitzer, but yeah. And then you have Jerry Tiller. I kind of already said he can get after the quarterback pretty well. Same thing with Sebastian Joseph Day and Austin Johnson. It's an elite pass rushing duo, especially we have 2 of the top 10 guys, and you have some good depth as well. It's the fact they have depth and they have 2 elite pass rushers. You have 2 elite pass rushers, top 10 guys, top 5 guy. You are going to have, there's going to be a lot of teams having trouble stopping you, especially since the fact that those guys usually stay healthy, which is huge for them as well. So that's, what is it, 20 out of 25, it's 24.67 out of 25. There aren't many teams in the NFL that have better pass rushers than the Chargers. Maybe 1 or 2, but they're they're up there. And now let's get to the cornerbacks now. But yeah, that's probably their biggest strength, their pass rush and their quarterback, obviously. Okay, let's see the cornerbacks. Of course, I wanted the Rams to get Asante Samuel Jr. They didn't. He's really darn good. J.C. Jackson, of course, his biggest signing. My opinion, he's a little bit overrated. That's just my opinion on him. But he's really good. I'll still be honest with you on that. Even though he gets B, he's one of the best number 1s in the NFL. That's just the truth. I think he's a little bit overrated, but still. Bryce Callahan, one of the best slots in the NFL. He also can play outside. Michael Davis, one of the best playmakers in the NFL as well. Tavon Campbell, I like Tavon Campbell a lot as well. He does need to work on, what is it called? Balance and his, in his spatial awareness, like Kair Elam and, who the heck was the other guy? I forgot who it was. But like Kair Elam, he needs to work on that, but other than that, he's fine. Kamon Hall, wasn't he like a first round? I forgot who Kamon Hall is. I played his first year. Guess he's going to be a special teamer, but this is a pretty darn good cornerback room. I'm giving them an A-. I can't give them an A+ because Asante Samuel's only played 1 year. I want to give, I'll give them an A. That's fair. They have some really good corners. Can I give them an A+? Yeah, I'll give them an A+. They have 4 legitimate corners. Yeah, Michael Davis isn't the greatest, but I still think it's really good. Yeah, call me overreacting on this. I do think they have a really good cornerback room. You can call me overreacting on this, but I do think it's an A+. It's really good. Isn't it an A probably, but I've looked at them. Oof, it's going to be tough for those receivers to get open on them. Especially against J.C. Jackson and Asante Samuel Jr. Again, another stacked room. I'm joking. They have Derwin James. He's a top 10 safety in the NFL. Nasir Adderley's a cerebral free safety. He doesn't get beat deep, which is huge. Alo Gilman. I remember watching one play with Alo. And it was him getting burned by Tyreek Hill. He's not great. Let me put it that way. And then you have J.T. Woods, who is a 3rd-round pick this year. Wait, isn't he a Baylor? Yeah. If there's one guy you want to know about J.T. Woods, is he is a good free safety. Because he did it. He's good. Like, if he has to go out there and Derwin James is out there, he's going to be perfectly fine. He struggles when he's the best safety out there. Jalen Petrie was the guy on Baylor's defense. He was the best player on Baylor's defense. J.T. Woods was just there. I got the deep. You got the under stuff. He's not a great tackler. He's very good in coverage, though. Very good, especially when he's relaxed. If he's stressed out, he's not great. But J.T. Woods has a lot of potential. He's just got to become a better leader and better under pressure. By now we know that Nasir Adderley isn't anything special, but they do have a decent depth with J.T. Woods there, too. And the fact that Derwin James is a top 10 safety, I'm giving them a B+. I think they have a really good safety room as well, which is, 16 out of 20. It's really good with their safety room. Of course, they don't have a great defensive line or linebacking core, which could struggle, but let's get to the average. Okay, I'm giving this defense a B. Yes, they have probably the best cornerback room in the NFL. Yes, they have really good safeties. Yes, they have one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. But their linebackers are not going to stop crap. Their defensive lines is That's why they're B. That holds them back just a little bit. Yeah, you can have a really good secondary and a really good pass rush, but if you can't stop the run, it doesn't matter. I think they're going to still struggle with that this year. And Brandon Staley's going to have to get a really good linebacker in there. A linebacker, I'm not saying an edge rusher, to help out to help them fit their run and make tackles twice. They don't have that playmaker, which is really big, and I still don't think they'll have that much of penetration because they have more pass rushers than they do run stoppers, which is just the truth about it. I still do think they have a good defense, but it's going to struggle if they have to stop the run. That's just the truth about it. Okay, now for the special teams. Dustin Hopkins is about as average of a kicker as you get. He's pretty good when it comes to field goals. He's not the best when it comes to the extra points, and he doesn't have a big leg. He's fine. J.K. Scott, one of the best punters in the NFL. He's young too. Is he like 28? No, yeah, he's 26. Man, this dude he's young. Ty Long was their punter, and he was one of the worst in the NFL, to be honest. But man, they have a good punter now. DeAndre Carter, he's a decent returner. Like, he's pretty good. Nothing else. Josh Harris isn't the best long snapper, and their special team's one of the worst in the NFL, along with the Green Bay Packers. But, man, whatever. Yeah, I'm giving the special team a D. They're probably the worst in the NFL, but I do think the Packers are the worst, so I'll give them a D and be generous. But their special teams is just awful. Not like the actual primary guys. I'm talking about, like, the gunners, like, everything other than their actual, like, returners. And DeAndre Carter isn't even that good of a returner either. Yeah, I said he's decent. He is decent. So that's 2 plus, oh gosh, 1.33. No, 2 plus 1.67. 3.67 out of 10. That's not great. Now let's get to the depth. Okay, for the depth on this team, I think their depth is actually pretty good, to be honest. So we put this all into account. Quarterback depth, fine. Running back depth, good. Wide receiver depth, meh. Tight end depth, meh. Offensive line depth, good. Offensive overall, good. Linebacker, bad. Defensive line, meh. Pass rush, really good. Cornerback, A+++. Safeties, B. Defensive overall, like a B. I'll give him like a B-. I think that's fair. Yeah, I'll give him a B. Their depth is good. I'm worried if they have some huge catastrophic injury, something bad will happen. But I still think they have good depth. Like, it's one of the better in the NFL, really. So B would be, okay. Who pass rush, 24.67. So it's out of 25. That's 4 plus 16, 20 out of 25. Pretty respectable, to say the least. Now let's get the overall grade. Okay, for the Chargers, 191 out of 235, which is like 10 points less than the Rams, which, like I said, if you hit 200, you're probably an A caliber roster. 195 I'll put you in the A range, but they've got a really good roster. That's my opinion on it. Their special teams is pretty bad, but other than that, they have a pretty darn good roster. Their run defense is not going to be good this year. It's going to be bad. It's not going to be, I still don't think it'll be one of the worst in the NFL, but they're going to have to fix that up in training camp any way they can. Brandon Staley got to get to work on that. But yeah, I do think they have a B+ roster. 191 out of 235. It's very fair. Very good roster. See you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoy. And yeah.
Fake one way. Fields stumbling.